So I'm not even kidding. I'm filming this on my phone right now. I was just filming this on my DSLR, my big camera. Dude, and of course, when I'm on this topic, the SD card that I've had for like the past 4 years finally won't format and it's just completely dead. I can't use it anymore. I tried reformatting it. Every single time I try talking about God, there's something wrong with my SD card. The last time I made a video like this too, I was getting pop-ups and stuff. I made about 10 videos since then. In the last 3 months, I get nothing. And then again, I sit down today to make this video and boom, SD card failure. But whatever, man. We always win the spiritual warfare, no matter what, because His power is greater than any dark power. Today, I'm gonna actually add a disclaimer at the beginning of this and saying that being a Christian is not about being perfect. I'm not perfect, although I strive to be. My nomenclature, my terminology is not going to be 100%. So let's just, understand that. I just want to start this video off by talking about faith. So I think if you look around, there is a huge lack of faith, and it doesn't have to be faith in God, although that's what I believe in. I think that people are just led astray, and the general populace doesn't think that there's anything spiritually that can be even harnessed in them. And it's like, it's not even a thought. And I think a huge reason for this is the society we live in here in the Western world, the United States I'll speak for. We have a lot of, look at the iceberg of media, music, movies, TV shows, all this stuff. We have a lot of things that kind of point you in the direction towards alcohol, drugs, women. If you're a man, it's cool to have a bunch of women, right? It's almost weird if you're at a party and you're not drinking, right? You're the weird kid. You're almost incentivized to do these things to make you feel like your spirit is being filled. Funny thing how liquor is called spirits, right? But and what it ultimately leads you into trying to fill this God-shaped void that you have inside of yourself. But you always end up, when you take the path of drugs, alcohol, women, all that other stuff that's not God, you end up just feeling empty, man. It never works, and I've taken that path. And but that's how the devil works though, right? Because it's so deceiving. You think when you're drunk, you're having a great time, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to take this drug to make me happy. Well, I feel happy right now. There's no one that can tell me that I am not high, that I don't feel good right now. But what a lot of these people don't realize is eventually that high is going to wear down, okay? And no problem, right? I'm just going to take more drugs. But over time, over years and years and years, there's going to be a point where you're just a drug addict now, and there's not even an amount you could take that makes you feel as you did in the beginning. So it ultimately leads to you feeling empty, is the point I'm trying to make. And as we know, it says in the Bible that if you believe in God, if you now don't grill me on the terminology here, but it says basically that if you believe in God, you will never thirst again, because you will have everlasting water from the well of Jesus Christ, something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about. And whereas if you try to drink from water that is in the world, that is worldly, so these worldly things, if you try to drink from these things that we have in the world, you're going to ultimately end up just always being thirsty, and you're always going to thirst for more, right? And that points to chasing money, thinking money is going to lead to happiness. We have these debates back and forth. I've never seen a person who only thought that money was the one thing that would bring them happiness, that got it and then confirmed that actually, yes, money did make me happy. There's been so many rich people that have committed suicide and all this stuff, so you really can't convince me that money is the only thing that you need to be happy. So, and again, I'm pointing this back to the societal norms that we have. It's like we're taught from a young age, you want to be cool, having this nice car, these materialistic things. You want to do all this cool stuff. You want to be the cool guy, right? You want to do all that. And I'm going to speak from the man's perspective. Money, women, alcohol, drugs, be cool. And you're taught this from a young age. And so you kind of go into like your teenage / adulthood with these what feel like really natural tendencies. If I'm going to just partake in these, maybe you're not doing heroin, right? But you have proclivities in certain areas of like, oh, I'm going to go drink with my friends here, and nothing out of the ordinary. The overarching point that I'm making is that society in the Western world makes it feel normal for you to open up portals and windows to the devil to come into your soul and your spirit. Because what are your eyes and ears? They are quite literally portals into your spirit. So what you listen to, what you see, ends up manifesting inside of you. So like things that you see and hear have the ability to change you. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me on that. The music we listen to is very important in what manifests into our spirit, okay? And you see this a lot, and even from experience, like when you listen to the certain kind of music over and over again, rap music and hip hop music specifically, they're talking about, you know, F this chick, do these drugs, drink this alcohol. It makes you think, it starts to manifest in you that these things are okay, these are normal. This guy who's telling me this thing in the song, he's cool. He's successful in the eyes of society. If he's singing this stuff, I want to be like him, because look at him up on this stage. Look at this idol that we have propped up here. If he's doing this stuff, well then surely it's cool if I do it. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and do it too. We're led astray from a young age, man. And I think it's very intentional, because if we live in a society which is godless, we don't have much faith in anything. I'm not going to get into the whole worldview speech, but that's one thing, man. I think Christians as a whole have a bad rep, because I think what ends up happening is you have all these lukewarm Christians out here that say to their friends and people around them, oh yes, I believe in God, I believe in Christianity, but then they act as the devil. They don't act as Christ did. So then their friends are kind of looking at them like, okay, well, if they're Christian and they're doing all these things, I might as well just, you know, guard my bases and say that I'm Christian too. That way I can be forgiven, and, you know, whenever I die. And it kind of ends up into this domino effect of like, everyone's saying they're Christian, but it's clear that they're not doing anything that's godly. So people start kind of looking at that and mocking it, which is bad, but it almost doesn't make sense to me, right? Because if let's make this a gym analogy, right? I got some gym bros watching this. If you go into the gym and you see somebody, you know, dangling around on the bench, like doing one of these with like, you know, 225 on it or whatever, and their form's completely botched, right? You're not going to look at that and think, oh, well, I guess the gym doesn't work then. I guess just the whole gym thing's not for me, because that guy, he's in the gym and he's doing things wrong, so this is not the right way. You're going to look at that specific man, that specific individual, and think, that guy, he has it wrong. He's not doing things as he should be doing them. And it's like, for some reason, people, they look at these lukewarm Christians and they assume that from their actions that that's what Christianity as a whole is, as if that's how we're supposed to be living as true Christians, and that's not the case. So people look at lukewarm Christians sometimes and they assume that's how all Christians are, when in reality that's a small minority, or actually it's kind of probably a greater minority than what I think, of people that they're not living righteous to God. They're not doing it the right way. Just kind of riffing around here. I have some things I just have on my heart that I'm gonna get off my chest. There's also, I see a lot of people that, you know, I don't know, a lot of people that say they believe in God, right? And I guess this goes back to the lukewarm talk. They'll be in comments kind of saying, you have this verse wrong, you need to go read the Bible, you're wrong about this, that, and the third, read the Bible. It is lack of knowledge that demises, like, or something like that, right? And they kind of throw these verses at you in like the Bible thumping mentality of like, you're wrong about this and you need to educate yourself, you are wrong. And it's, their heart's not in the right place. And they go about it the wrong way, okay? Because Christ is very loving. Christians are supposed to be very loving. Christians love their own enemies, but yet today we have Christians that are in these comment sections on the internet that are almost, they have an angry heart towards their fellow Christians, right? And so it's this real combative mentality, right? And obviously you're gonna have people that believe in other religions that are also battling it out, and it's just this real divisive sort of thing we have going on here. And I don't like the fact that there's so many people that call themselves Christians, but they don't represent Christianity in a correct way. And everyone wants to talk about religion. Christianity is, I don't even think of it as a religion. I think of it as a relationship with God. Because the term religion almost signifies that there's multiple choices here. Like, oh, what's your religion? Like as if there's a like you can have your choice of it, right? And of course, you know, I believe in the Bible, I believe in God. So to me, there's only one choice if we want to be worldly about it. But it really, I believe the Bible, so there is no other choice. There is the one truth, which is the Bible. So the term religion, it's like, well, there's not really a religion. I have my relationship with God because this is what I believe in, and I'm true to him. So I'm not even going to look out and pick and choose. This is another thing I think is wrong with the society that we live in. Nowadays, what people are doing to pick their religion is they're first looking inwards and saying, okay, I believe this, that, and the third. I want to live in these ways. Now I'm going to look out and I'm going to pick what religion best suits me and makes me feel better and what appeases my emotions. Instead of looking outwards first and objectively, you know, analyzing, okay, what is, like, let me weigh these out. Let me see what is the truth here. What should I be following? And then once they make their decision, then look internally and they go ahead and start fixing themselves, living properly to their religion, right? So we have this whole wrong thinking about I need everything around me to make me feel good. Okay, it's like this. There's a lack of humility nowadays where it's like, if somebody thinks something, first of all, oftentimes they don't know why they think it, but hypothetically, let's say they do know why they think it. If somebody else disagrees with them, a lot of times there's not even a conversation to be had. Now, there are a lot of times people can, you know, converse and debate things in a healthy manner, but I'm speaking for the majority of people that will have this closed-minded, no, I think this, regardless if they know why they think it, and you think something different, so I don't like you, and yeah, I'm just going to throw you away. I'm going to cast you aside because you don't believe what I believe in. So I don't want anything to do with you. And it's just this real divisive mentality. And it's like, how are we ever supposed to come together? I'm not trying to be like the social justice warrior of like, let's all come together now. But like, it's kind of sad to look around and see that people don't want to stand together in any manner, really. I mean, from any any manner you look, any element of humanity you look at, the society we live in the Western world attempts to divide us. So look at race. I don't even need to get into that one. Look at gender. I don't need to get into that one. You look at sexuality. Don't need to get into that one. And, you know, I don't want to get too political over here, man, but these things are very, very in everybody's face. And the fact that a lot of people don't even notice it, it's very concerning, man. And all I'm asking, if you're watching this, I'm not asking you to believe in what I believe in. I'm not asking you to think about things the way that I think about things, okay? Because everybody's different. Everybody has their own perspectives and viewpoints, and I get it. I can think what I think, and you can think what you think. We can disagree, and we can still be friends because I still love you. So that's the thing. And I'm not trying to stand up on my mighty pedestal. I just think there's a huge agenda that's being pushed right now, without getting too political about it again. And I think everyone's divided. I think a lot of people have closed minds. I think a lot of people are distracted. I've said this before. I just think these are I think this is the world we live in, right? We look around. It is ran by the devil, and there are many, many elements of this world that attempt to pull you away from God any way possible. What we've already talked about, how society will try to make you think it's cool for drugs and cool to do alcohol and all this stuff, right? Of course, the world would have you think that because the world is ran by the enemy. This is the kingdom of darkness, quite literally. And men are becoming women, women are becoming men. They're, from every angle, they are trying to tear everybody apart, okay? And I'm trying to make this video more so about Christianity, man. But even if we had a society full of a God-fearing, a different God from a different religion, God-fearing civilians that weren't killing because of their idea of God. They weren't stealing and you know, doing heinous things because of their idea of God. That would be better than what we have now. It's a godless society ran by the enemy, right? So I'm a believer and I'm a follower of Christ, and I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm a man of flesh and blood. So I kind of got off track. I was saying we live in a world that is ran by the enemy, by the devil. And that holds true. You look at how is it ran by the devil? Who's running it? Well, what runs the world really is kind of like who's at the top controlling the narratives and the propaganda of everything we see and hear. Look at the music industry. I'm not even getting into that, dude, but it's very clear that there's a lot of satanic things that go on in the music industry. There's a lot of movies that try making you think certain ideals are cool. I'm not going to get into all of that. That's political stuff we don't have to get into. But aside from that, look at all of the phones and the technology we have. I mean, I've been reading the Bible every day lately, and I've been catching myself literally, like I'll wake up and I'll start waking. I like to read the Bible first thing in the morning while I'm fasted, and I'll catch myself on my phone for like an hour or two, and I'm like, dude, this is from the enemy right now. I'm being distracted. I'm watching a lot of times. I'm watching biblical things, but it's just, I'm watching biblical things because I am where I am on my spiritual journey to Christ. But there's a lot of people who, they avoid relationships, they avoid friendships, and avoid socializing, and they're just on their phone. And see, I grew up in the era of phones. I got my first iPod Touch, which was kind of like one of the first like touch screen devices, right, when they first came out, when I was like, it was like back in 2011 or 2012 or something like that, touchscreen phones. And back then, you know, growing up, it's like, dude, this is great. I mean, I have the internet here, I can do whatever I want on this phone, I had iFunny on it and everything was great. And so when you're at that point, when you're younger, it's like you're not gonna really question it, because it's, number one, it's all you've ever known. Number two, you're not mature enough yet to have like this really over-encompassed worldview. So it's almost like you have to just have your own path into Christianity. And so that's why I'm making these videos. I'm not trying to like bash anyone over the head with my beliefs, but I am gonna put my beliefs out there because I think it's really important. Because when I was 15 years old, man, if I were to watch this video, I would just scroll on by. I wouldn't care. And so I think everyone has to have their own path to Christ. And I'm not gonna ramble on too much longer, but I just really have been feeling myself getting closer to God lately, man. And this is a season for me where it's a waiting season, it's an isolation season. People are falling out of my life that God doesn't want to be in my life, and that don't serve a purpose for me, and that I can't serve a purpose for any longer. They're leaving my life, and he's isolated me into a position where it's like it's just so obvious that he's like, yo, read your Bible, form a relationship with me. I've gotten off of Kratom. I was addicted to Kratom for 3 years. I have a video of that on my channel. I stopped I haven't vaped for like 3 weeks now. And these things are happening in my life, and it's just like, it just makes sense. It's almost like watching a predictable movie. It's like, yeah, of course that makes sense. You know, it puts you in these positions, and things start unfolding, and you start getting closer to them, and you look back, and it's like, well, this is kind of just seems like how it should have been the whole time. So I don't really know what I'm going to title this video, to be honest. I just wanted to get on here and kind of riff, because I want more people to talk about God, man. You know, I want more people to talk about Christ, and I want more people to be open-minded. I don't really like seeing all this like closed-minded mentality of like, you don't believe what I believe, we're not going to talk about it, we're not going to discuss in a healthy manner as humans do. I just hate you and get out of here, and just hateful, like just a lot of hearts full of hate. And I'm not judging, okay? I love everybody. I'm not judging. But I do wish we could get to a point where instead of this closed-minded mentality, we kind of open our minds a little bit, have enough humility to ponder, maybe perhaps there is another answer that I don't have. Maybe what I think is right isn't right. And if everybody has this mentality, everybody eventually will get to at least what they think the right answer is. Again, I don't care. Of course, I think everybody should follow Christ. I'm not gonna treat anyone different who doesn't. At least if somebody is progressing towards what they believe is right, is what I'm trying to say here. Like, I just think people are closing themselves off to getting to what they believe the truth is. Now, I believe there's one truth, and that one truth is Christ. But at least if someone's gonna be wrong in my eyes, at least I want them progressing to what they think is the truth, because I'm seeing a lot of people not even allowing themselves to get there. Right, and in my perfect world, everybody realizes, like, they go on their own progress and their own journey, and they end up eventually finding Christ. Maybe they try other religions out and they end up getting there on their own. Even if they don't, though, at least they're making steps towards what they think is the truth, because there's just so many people that are so close-minded. The internet perhaps is to blame for it, because you can kind of just get into these little tunnels on the internet of, like, you know, all these For You pages and these algorithms. They feed you content that it knows you like. So you get on here and you just kind of have your beliefs affirmed to you over and over again. And again, that's why, like, the whole phone thing, like, we can't be distracted on their phones. It changes the way you think about things. It changes the way you interact. It just is. It can't be good to the extent that most people, including myself, are using it. So I'm gonna end it there. There has to be some value in this video, man. It's like a 25-minute video. These are just things I had on my heart that I needed to get out, that I wanted to say. The bulk is still going on. I know I'm saying I've been fasting in the morning, reading the Bible. I'm making my calories up. I'm at like 233 right now still, so everything will be fine with the bulk. Just give me some time, man, because I'm getting closer to God. The bulk's not over. Don't get it twisted. The bulk is not over. I'm getting really close. I'm getting close to God right now, man, and I'm loving it. And I just know, like, I just feel in my heart and my soul that I need to get closer to God right now. So I guess the bulk, I guess, in a sense, is taking kind of like a back seat. But I still have I'm still peeking back, everyone. Like, I have my eyes on it. I'm not going to just forget about it, okay? Because we've come a long way for this bulk. So we're not going to just put it to the side, trust me. But anyway, God bless you, man. And thanks for watching.